had some drama at the last Ozarks meet, and I wanted to do a video that lets you guys know what to expect from the East Tennessee meetup and the Ozarks meetups in the future. And pretty much any other meetup I organize, ever. We ride at individual paces. We call it ride your own ride. You know, it goes by many different names. Ride your own pace, whatever. These are not parades, okay? We're not gonna make the group go as slow as the slowest rider. It's not any fun for the faster guys. We're not gonna make the slower guys go as fast as the faster guys. That's not safe. So what we do is we get leaders. Generally the leaders usually kind of run pretty quick for the area, and they know where they're going. Okay? Now, you're more than welcome to get up in front of them, but don't go crying to anybody if you miss a corner, all right? What we do is whenever we get to a big intersection where we're going to change roads, the leaders will stop and the whole group will wait for everybody else to catch up. If we have a big enough group, we'll separate it into two different groups. So like we did twice now in the Ozarks, you have a fast group and a slow group. And that worked out great until somebody got caught in the middle because of a communication breakdown. So you wait for the group to catch up and carry on. And we will keep an eye on roughly how far behind people are falling. So if you're 10 minutes behind us, which is really far, and very unlikely, I don't think we've ever had to wait anywhere near that long except for last year. If you're like 10 minutes back and we know that's about where you're going to be, and 15-20 minutes goes by, so they're going to turn around and come look for you. And this is where ride your own pace comes in. That is not the best way to handle things from a safety standpoint. You know, if you're laying on the side of the road bleeding, the rest of the group's an hour away, more or less, they aren't, and really they couldn't help anyway. You know, we don't have doctors riding with us, we don't have triage surgeons, and we don't have mechanics. If your shit breaks down, you need to be able to handle it. Now, if that means pull out your cell phone and call somebody, fine. If that means try to fix it yourself, fine. Most of us have basic toolkits, and of course we'll help, but that help is going to be a little ways away. So you come prepared to ride it by yourself. And hopefully you won't have to. You know, hopefully you'll be right there with the rest of the crowd, and it won't be an issue. We don't like, I don't want a lot of people doing stunts and shit in the crowd. If you want to do wheelies and whatnot, every now and then, that's one thing. We try to stay off the interstates. So, but you know, we don't want to see people do like stand-up wheelies all the way down the fucking straightaway. That's not what we're there for. We're not trying to be assholes to the general public, especially not the locals, even though we end up pissing a fair number of them off anyway. We try to minimize that to an extent. And, you know, you don't try not to buzz people too much and shit like that. Just be a decent, courteous rider, and you'll probably be fine. But, we don't want anyone to think that this is going to be an escorted, big-ass group thing. You know, we don't have police escorts. We'll probably never have a police escort or a chase vehicle. You know, we're not going to haul around a fucking tow truck because your bike might break down. I don't expect anybody to ever do that for me, and I'm not going to do it for you. Sorry. Shit costs too damn much, okay? It's just the way it is. If, you know, something happens and somebody wants to bring their car and they want to act as a chase vehicle, that's great. We're not going to stop you, but we're not going to plan for it. You know what I mean? We will have sweepers, if possible. If only 5 or 6 people show up, you really don't need one. When we have 8 or 10 people, we'll probably have one. It is done on a I like this overlook. It's done on a volunteer basis, so yeah, more or less. In the Ozarks, whenever we've had two groups, I sweep the fast group because I like to go to higher speed. But I'm not going to be up there running with Ardell and Aaron and them. Fuckers are crazy. And the slow group's just too damn slow. I get bored. Actually, I would end up leading the slow group and I'd end up walking away from them. It just doesn't work out, you know. So we try to have a sweeper. They're generally someone who knows the road, or we have one or two guys that are very confident in their riding, but they really don't like blind corners like this one, so they won't go hauling ass through the blind corner, which is fine. We don't have a problem with that. They're good sweepers. They don't necessarily know where we're going, but they're safe enough that you don't have to worry about them. And that's what your sweeper is supposed to be, is somebody you don't have to worry about. All right? Lunch and gas stops are generally chosen beforehand, but we are usually flexible enough to say we'll get gas whenever people need it. In the Ozarks, this doesn't really work. There's a lot of distance between gas stations sometimes. And, you know, sometimes you might ride 20 miles and then have to stop for gas because you can't ride 150 miles and it's 132 to the next gas station. That happens. Generally not quite that extreme, but it has happened. Out in eastern Tennessee, not so much of an issue. There's usually a gas station every 50 miles, within every 50 miles anyway. Food, yeah, we'll figure it out. In Arkansas, we have a couple of places that we like to go. In East Tennessee, we have one place that we really like to go. Everybody likes cats. The other day, whatever. And this is usually roughly the pace that we're going, you know. We're not out trying to set land speed records. There are obviously some people that go a little faster. And technically, yes, I'm speeding. However, it's not extreme, and if I were to pass a cop, I'd probably be okay. If you are one of these people who absolutely refuses to break the speed limit in any circumstance, or you absolutely refuse to pass on the double yellow, might want to rethink going. Now, we don't usually do a lot of double yellow passing, but every now and then you kind of have to. And it is possible to make it somewhat safe. If you are that much of a stickler for following the rules that you cannot ever find a good time to zip around somebody that's going slow as shit, probably not the group for you. And no hard feelings or anything like that. We're not going to make fun of you or anything. It's just not how we go.